Take on the 76ers tonight here at the Wachovia Center. Let's take a look at the Bud Light starting lineups for this fourth and final meeting of the year. Up front for Boston, Paul Pierce, Antoine Walker, and Rafe LaFrentz. For the 76ers, Kyle Korver, Chris Webber, and Samuel Dallenberg across the front line. In the backcourt for Boston, the veteran Gary Payton and the rookie Tony Allen. And for the 76ers, Allen Iverson is back in the lineup. And Andre Iguodala, their rookie, and Jim O'Brien, the former coach of the Celtics, now the head coach of the 76ers, trying for the sweep this year against Doc Rivers and the Boston Celtics. Doc Rivers has done an outstanding job with the Celtics as they have been sitting on top of the division for most of the year, and especially so after they made the Walker deal. They really caught fire, Tim.
I think both of these guys have really done great jobs because they both had different sets of problems to deal with. Doc Rivers had a lot of different personalities. He had to get on the same page. We talk about Peyton, Walker, and Pierce, and Ricky Davis, and Jim O'Brien coming in really didn't have that power forward for late in the season of Chris Webber. So all things considered, I think both guys have done a nice job with their teams.
Let's see how Iverson handles the ball tonight. He's got injuries to both thumbs. One thumb was broken, the other severely sprained. Here's Iguodala with the first shot of the game, and the Sixers take the lead.
And if he does that well, this team's really difficult to beat. That's probably the one weakness of his game, but he's gotten more confident with that outside shot as the season's progressed.
Antoine Walker in on Dallenberg, who gets the block. And the outlet pass knocked out of bounds by Boston.
Samuel Dallenberg is a guy that really was kind of in the doghouse early in the year with Jim O'Brien. I think he really kind of questioned his basketball IQ and didn't really come to appreciate all the energy things he brings to his team until maybe a couple months ago, but he does a great job of contesting shots and altering shots.
Iverson, and the ball kicked by Payton. 14 on the shot clock for the 76ers to come in. Philadelphia 22-15 at home this year. Speaking of home, Jim O'Brien is back home as he is a native of Philadelphia and also played collegiately here in town at St. Joseph's. Chris Webber with his first touch. And the pass inside, knocked out of bounds with 5 to shoot. The Sixers to come in. It'll be interesting to see how Webber is able to fit in. Remember, he injured that left shoulder in a game in Phoenix that we had on ESPN a few weeks ago as Webber connects there.
Always feels good to knock down that first shot when you come back from an injury, get back in the flow quickly.
Good strong move by Paul Pierce.
You know, Andre Iguodala gave Paul Pierce nightmares the last time they played. You can see Paul Pierce determined right there to just straight line drive him. Don't play with the basketball against a guy like Iguodala. Go right at him, try to get to the rim. Samuel Dallenberg.
So Dallenberg, who averages about 8.5. Payton. Dug out by Webber. Iverson, Korver for 3. And the Sixers are out of the gate in a hurry.
Sixers as good as any team in this league at converting turnovers into points because you got AI with the ball as quick as any point guard in the league from end to end. Andre Iguodala, great athlete, and then you got spacing with guys like Korver that can shoot the 3, so they really convert off of turnovers.
A steal by Iguodala. And it's Paul Pierce missing the 3. Webber having some problems. Here's Iverson. Underneath to Dallenberg. 5 for 5 on the Sixers to start this game. And Boston wants a timeout.
Very similar beginning to the way these teams started out the last time they played, when Philly jumped to a 25-point lead in the first quarter. Doc Rivers has to be concerned with the way his team has come out on the offensive end of the floor.
And JoJo White concerned, as the Celtics are down by 9 right out of the gate. Let's take a look at the remaining schedules for these two. Boston tomorrow night at Milwaukee. They've got the Heat. Then they're on the road at Toronto, at Cleveland, and a big game with New Jersey, the final game of the season. And the Sixers have Miami in here on Thursday. And they've got to go to Indiana and New Jersey and have Milwaukee and Atlanta to finish up. But this is a two-game game in the standings. If Philadelphia wins, the Boston lead in the Atlantic is 1. If the Celtics win, they're up by 3, and their magic number to clinch the division and thus the third seed would be 3. Remember, in the NBA playoffs, 3 plays 6, but this year 3 won't necessarily have the home court advantage should the 6th seed have a better record.
And if Philly gets this one tonight and they end up tied, that's all they have to shoot for, because they will have swept Boston this year 4-0. So they're just trying to get even with them. I think the Sixers schedule a little bit tougher those first 3. They shouldn't have any problem with Milwaukee to land at the tail end. They need this one tonight.
Here's Weber. And the 76ers finally miss one. Antoine Walker. Tip try LaFrentz. And the ball knocked out of bounds. Last touch by the 76ers. Here's Rafe LaFrentz, averaging 11 points a game in the middle for the Celtics. Paul Pierce makes the inbounds to Walker. Antoine Walker with a kick out. Now a return to Walker from Allen, 12 to shoot. Walker takes it in on D'Alembert. The ball knocked loose, and it's Allen Iverson digging it out. Iverson with a lob to D'Alembert.
And that is one of the most deadly alley-oop combinations in the league. Allen Iverson understands that Samuel D'Alembert is running right to the rim in any transition situation, and a guy that long, you just have to throw it up there and he will go get it. You can't make a bad pass to a guy like D'Alembert.
D'Alembert's got 6 points already. Payton with a pitch out to Pierce, and as Pierce made the move across the lane, a foul on Iguodala. First team foul on the 76ers. Well, this is 2 games in a row, Tim, where Boston has had real problems with Philly out of the gate.
And they've done it because of turnover. You see again in transition, Allen Iverson always the quickest guy on the floor, but sometimes it looks like other guys are just have their feet nailed to the ground when he's around them. And Antoine Walker with a 3-pointer kind of cutting into that lead, but Philadelphia thrives off of Boston's carelessness with the basketball. They've had huge leads in 2 to 3 games earlier this year in the first half, and tonight trying to do it again.
The Celtics near the bottom in turnovers in the NBA, and D'Alembert has 8.
They call that one an official heat check, because Samuel D'Alembert will take maybe 5 of those a year, but when you've already hit 3 straight buckets, you can go ahead and take that. Jim O'Brien's not going to complain even if he misses it.
Payton shot blocked, but a foul called. Gary Payton to the free throw line. D'Alembert called for the foul. That's his first 2 team fouls on the 76ers. Here's Gary Payton, who was traded. Well, he was involved in the deal that brought Antoine Walker here, and then a little over a week later, he comes back as a free agent.
And Doc Rivers has loved what this guy's brought to the team, because you got to remember, this was a guy that was used to being a perennial all-star before he got to LA last year. So it's a guy that's got an ego, a guy that's used to having the ball in his hands, a guy that's used to scoring, yet he's coming here and understood that's not his role. His role is to be a leader to some of these younger players, get the ball in the hands of the scorers, and accept that secondary role, and he's done a great job of it.
Allen Iverson has not attempted a field goal as yet, but he has 4 assists for the hot shooting Sixers. 10 on the shot clock this trip for Philadelphia. Weber behind the back feed to Korver. Here comes Payton. Payton right up the middle. Out of bounds to Philadelphia. NBA TV, your all-access channel for everything basketball. Tune in every morning to NBA TV Daily and NBA TV Fantasy Hoops. That's NBA TV all day, all night, all basketball. So the Celtics down by 8 and 6:40 left in the quarter. Allen, Tony Allen, the rookie guard. Gives it up to Pierce with 10 to shoot on the return. Allen unable to finish. Allen Iverson finds Iguodala. And again, the Celtics with a chance to cut into that Sixer lead, and Walker does. That's 5 points for Walker.
The big difference right now is that Boston is getting shot attempts. Early in the game, they were coughing it up, allowing Philly to get out and run. Right now, they're getting field goal attempts, and they're knocking them down, cutting into that lead.
But Kyle Korver, one of the top three-point shooters in the league, nails his second one.
And you see the exasperation on Doc Rivers' face because Tony Allen just made a mental error right there. You never leave a shooter in the corner to gamble for a steal in the high post. It's exactly what he did. Make Kyle Korver put the ball down. He's a catch-and-shoot player. You have to make him do something he's not as comfortable doing.
Payton against Iverson. And a foul called on the play that'll get Allen to the free throw line. Korver called for the foul. That's his first 3 team fouls on the 76ers. Tony Allen, who got a start tonight because of an injury to Delonte West. And Doc Rivers having to go with one rookie guard in place of another.
And that's a shame for Delonte West because this is where he made a name for himself, playing at St. Joe's University. Made that great run to the Elite Eight last year, playing alongside Jameer Nelson. I know Delonte. I play in summer leagues with him. I know how much he was looking forward to playing tonight, especially since he has broken into that starting lineup, but not meant to be. Got the bad hand. He's going to probably sit this one out. Doc Rivers said if he's in the game, we're in huge trouble.
Payton defending Iverson. Chris Webber guarded by Walker. Allen Iverson shot blocked from behind, but a foul. And AI on the line to shoot 2. Payton called for the foul. First foul on Payton.
And you see Allen Iverson, no, he hasn't really gotten a shot up yet. He's been really content to dish it out, but this guy is very active without the basketball. And Chris Webber brings a dimension to their offense when he's on the floor that they don't normally have. They can now hit him at the high post. They like to run a lot of scissor cut action off of him. Guys like Korver, Iguodala, and Iverson, all good without moving without the basketball, become more effective when you have a guy in the high post with that kind of vision. Chris Webber, one of the best passing big men in the NBA. He's going to find you if you're moving without the ball, makes you more willing to do so. That's what Allen Iverson did on that possession.
Iverson with the 2 thumb injuries nails both free throws. The Sixers are up by 10. Legs, if you've got thumb problems, does it affect your shooting more or your ball handling?
I would say it definitely. For me, you know, I was a guy that didn't handle the ball that much, so I would say shooting, but it affects both. Ball handling, obviously, because you can't really get your hand as spread when you have 2 thumbs hurt, and you need those fingertips spread. But even shooting, catching the ball is difficult when you have a finger injury. That's what makes it difficult to shoot, not so much the release. You see Samuel Dallenberg, and Jim O'Brien will take that because you're just using that as a deterrent for everybody else driving in. But AI's got issues no matter how you slice it. See how he plays with them. I'm surprised he doesn't have them taped.
Works around the pick by Dallenberg. Payton on him. Webber. 8 on the shot clock for the Sixers. Dallenberg really cooking in this opening quarter. He's got 10 and he averages 8.5.
Well, we saw that shot at Wilt before the game in the locker room. I think he's reincarnated tonight. Samuel Dallenberg is going to work on the offensive end of the floor. He's already given you what he's going to give you normally in an entire game.
Here's Ricky Davis coming on for the Celtics. A 6th Man of the Year candidate in the NBA. There you see the numbers on Ricky Davis this year, averaging over 16 points a game. And Aaron McKee is on for Philadelphia. Iguodala going out.
I think the 6th man competition is a 2-man race, period. It's Ben Gordon or Ricky Davis. Jerry Stackhouse has started a number of games. I think that kind of hurts him, but other than those 2 guys, I don't see anybody else sneaking in. I think Ben Gordon right now has the inside track because a lot of what he's done has been in the 4th quarter. It's been a little more dramatic than what Ricky Davis has done, but he's been very effective for Doc Rivers.
Here's a foul on Rafe LaFrentz. 2 fouls on him. Chris Webber out of the game right now for Philadelphia. Doc Rivers and the Celtics down by 10. So what's new? Getting down early to the Sixers. Iverson. Open shot for Aaron McKee. Rafe LaFrentz finding Pierce. Pierce, a tough shot, had a hand in his face. 4 points for Pierce, who leads the Celtics in scoring at 21.5. Iverson splits the defense. Oh, pretty move. AI has his first field goal, 4 points scored. Iverson, who leads the league in scoring. Rafe LaFrentz lines up a three. Aaron McKee with the rebound. Rodney Rogers with a three ball in the air. Dallenberg comes down with it. Out of bounds to Boston.
The way Dallenberg is going, he probably should have just shot that. Why not? You're as hot as he is, but it's great for the Sixers that they can get off to this kind of lead early when Allen Iverson really hasn't been that involved offensively from a scoring standpoint. He's been the most active player on the floor, but not getting a lot of touches.
His team is up by a dozen. Mark Blount, number 30 in the lineup now for Boston, replacing Rafe LaFrentz, and a foul on McKee. Got over the screen, but made the bump, and Aaron McKee has his first personal foul. Lead with 2:50 left in the quarter. So far, he's doing his best Tiny Archibald impression.
Well, he's so difficult to guard off the dribble. He understands that his penetration creates opportunities. He got Iguodala involved with the first bucket of the game. Here you see finding Kyle Korver, and Allen Iverson's been great for Korver's game. He just has to spot up, and he will find him. We talked about that great oop combination of Sam Dallenberg. And here, remember this combination that rode to the finals? Allen Iverson to Aaron McKee. Aaron McKee has struggled with injuries, but Allen Iverson found him on that one.
He's up. His assist totals are up this year, as you see. They're 2 a game. At 7.8 per game. You know, I talked about Tiny Archibald, who 1 year in the NBA led the league in scoring and assists. The only guy to do that. And Iverson has that capability.
He really does. And again, it helps to be on a team, obviously, where you dominate the basketball and you're allowed to do that. That helps. You have to have the ball a ton to put up those kind of numbers, but you also have to be a special talent because you have to be able to be relentless in terms of putting pressure on the defense. That's what Allen Iverson can do. Still the quickest guy in the league with the basketball that we have in the NBA. And that's saying a lot when this guy's been beat up as much physically as he has throughout his career.
And Boston now defending him with Ricky Davis. Samuel Dallenberg turns it in over Blount. And the rebound to Pierce, up ahead to Davis. Dallenberg collects the rebound. Iverson, quick move ahead to Rodney Rogers. Another assist for AI.
How he avoided running Gary Payton over, I will never know. I believe that was Payton. It might have been Paul Pierce with such a blur, I couldn't see it. He was headed right for him and changed directions while catching an outlet pass, not even seeing the defender. Amazing, one-of-a-kind talent, Allen Iverson.
This 13-point lead, now the biggest for the 76ers. And Paul Pierce on the miss, and Dallenberg has another rebound. Less than 2 minutes for the quarter. They sent a posse after Iverson. He attacks with a pass inside, broken up. AI gets it back, and the ball tipped out by Blount to Davis. Ricky Davis fouled in the act of shooting. And Antoine Walker wants a goaltend as well.
I don't think so. I think that ball was still on its way up. You know, at the other end, I said you can't throw a bad alley-oop to Sam Dallenberg. I was wrong. You can throw it too low. That's what Allen Iverson did. But you take a look at this block. That ball's barely out of his hand. He took it into the glass. That's a good block. Good no call by the officials.
Don't forget, tonight following our game, check out the most innovative NBA program in television here on ESPN2. Tim Legler will join Matt Weiner and Greg Anthony, and also Mark Stein and Mark Jackson for NBA Nation.
We'll stick around for a couple hours after the game. Do a little more TV work.
You get paid extra. Right?
I get paid a little extra. You're welcome to come join us, John.
I think maybe not. There's Rogers with a lob to Dallenberg.
Well,
so now they've overthrown him.
Too.
Yeah, they've overthrown him both ways.
I guess it does have to be just right. Maybe just from here it looks like he's an easy target. They've misfired in the last 2 tries.
And their 13-point lead is down to 9 with a little over a minute left for the quarter. Rodney Rogers working on Walker. Stolen by Davis. And Iverson takes the foul to prevent the run out. 2 fouls on Iverson.
What's interesting there is you see the Sixers running one of their normal sets that they'd run for a Chris Webber at the 4 position, who's a good wing one-on-one player. Rodney Rogers is not that kind of player, but the Sixers still run it because it's one of their normal sets. You could tell he was like a fish out of water trying to figure out what to do in that one-on-one situation. Ends up picking his dribble up and throwing the ball away, and Jim O'Brien looked pretty frustrated on the sideline. But to me, you're putting a player in a position where he's not going to succeed. Rodney Rogers, at this point of his career, is a catch-and-shoot player.
Iverson going out with his 2 fouls. Kyle Korver has returned to the lineup for the Sixers. And also Mark Jackson coming in for Philadelphia, and Samuel Dalembert getting a hand in this first quarter as he heads for the sideline.
And Mark Jackson and Samuel Dalembert are great compliments to each other because Samuel Dalembert is the athletic, plays above the rim a lot. Mark Jackson is flat out going to beat you up down on the ground. He's a physical body. He likes to bang, and he's a crowd favorite here because he does everything that most guys don't really want to do in the NBA.
The Celtics have scored the last 6. The shot clock at 14. As Rogers tried to make the move, a foul called out on the perimeter. Foul on Al Jefferson, the Celtics rookie. That's his first. They got Marcus Banks out there, number 11. Mark Jackson. And there's the second foul in the last 2 minutes. That's on Banks. So to the free throw line for the 76ers will be Willie Green. Willie Green, second-year player, averaging 8 points a game. And in the game on Saturday against Washington, 20-point game in 38 minutes. That was a big win by the 76ers. Allen Iverson sat that one out.
This guy has a lot of talent. He can really play both the 1 and the 2. When he was playing last year a lot of minutes and he was starting the second half of the year, really put up some nice numbers, but for whatever reason has not been really in the favor of Jim O'Brien since he got here.
Al Jefferson. Very little difference between the shot clock and the game clock. The 76ers can take it all the way down. Green holding, guarded by Banks. 8 to shoot. Mark Jackson on the miss. Here's Pierce from beyond midcourt. And the first quarter comes to an end. The Celtics are back into contention. Allen Iverson with 6 assists in the first quarter helped spearhead at one time a 13-point Philadelphia lead. But the Celtics have reeled them back in. Jim Durham with Tim Legler. The 76ers with a 7-point lead on Boston.
You take a look at what happens when you gamble in the backcourt and you come up with a miss. Take a look at Antoine Walker right here. His responsibility is Rodney Rogers here. He's going to try to match up with him in transition. But you see, when the outlet comes, Ricky Davis gambles, forces right here. Gary Payton comes up on Iverson. But when AI beats him to the middle, it forces Walker to pick him up. That allows Rodney Rogers to sneak in for the layup,
causing confusion in the Celtics transition defense.
Right now the Celtics with Walker and Payton out of the game. Marcus Banks, number 11, gets Boston set up. Pierce guarded by McKee. Nice move by Pierce, and the Celtics are right back in it. It's a 5-point game.
And that's what Doc Rivers said he wanted to do in this game with Paul Pierce. Get him down low against not only Iguodala, but McKee, Korver, whoever else is guarding him, so he doesn't play with the ball too much. He can attack the rim.
That's Korver on a 3. Kyle Korver with his third 3-pointer already. 76ers playing with Allen Iverson sitting it out right now. 2 fouls on Iverson. Out of bounds. to Philadelphia.
Take a look at Pierce here. They're going to get him in the short post against Aaron McKee, and he's just too big of a body, too strong down there on the low block. That's how he gets to the foul line when he is most effective as a scorer.
Kyle Korver coming back to Mark Jackson. It's an open look for Rodney Rogers. And Al Jefferson, the rebound for Boston. Pierce with a straight-on look at a three. Willie Green to the long rebound.
And that is what Doc Rivers doesn't want him to settle for, that quick pull-up jumper in transition where you're bailing out the defense without having to guard you.
Ricky Davis has it for the Celtics, who trailed by 8. They've been down by 13. They've had the lead down to 5. Blount, 10 to shoot. And Blount connects from the perimeter. Mark Blount with his first points. Loose ball out of bounds to the Sixers as Marcus Banks went on the deck to try and save it inbounds. He was out of bounds.
I'll tell you what, Marcus Banks is a smaller guard, but he's a nightmare to bring the ball up against. He is flat out one of the best in the league at pressuring you 94 feet and moving those feet and forcing you to turn as many times as possible. There's a defensive lapse by Boston, but Rodney Rogers unable to finish on the layup.
So let's see if the Celtics can take advantage. Just about 2 minutes into the second quarter. Jefferson scores on Mark Jackson. Al Jefferson has his second field goal.
Another one of those high school kids you won't know about for 3 or 4 years, but he has shown tremendous improvement throughout this season.
Willie Green off to Rogers. The shot clock at 6. Inside pass broken up. The Celtics a steal. Blount trying to take it in on Rogers, and the ball knocked out of bounds by Rogers.
You see how different their offense is when Allen Iverson's not in the game and Jim O'Brien's not wasting any time. They're completely out of sync right now. They don't have any focus or anybody to run it through. Going to get the two stars back in together and try to get some cohesion going back on that end of the floor, because right now they're not getting quality attempts.
So as Weber and Iverson come in, Willie Green and Rodney Rogers go out. Davis, Jefferson. Al Jefferson with 6 off the bench, and that's his average. The Celtics are back to within 2, and we've got over 9 minutes left in the half. Korver returns to Iverson. Jefferson the rebound, and a foul called on Philadelphia.
We've seen such a pattern with these two teams. I mean, Philly was up 38-13 in the first quarter the last time they met. That game ended up being a 4-point game in the second half. Earlier this year, Philly was up 20 up in Boston in the first half. That ended up being a 3-point lead at one point, and tonight they were up big early, and you see it's already a 2-point game. So Philly's great at jumping out of the gate against this team, but not as good at keeping the lead.
That foul was on Mark Jackson. He's out of the lineup. Dallenberg returns. And here's a foul called on Dallenberg, I believe, guarding Al Jefferson. The Boston Celtics back to within 2 and a timeout taken. All right, Matt, thanks a lot. A 2-point lead for the Sixers. They were up by 13. We're a little over a week out from the end of the regular season, and a lot of teams with injury questions to have answered between now and the playoffs. Mark Blount, Ricky Davis, and now Al Jefferson in on Dallenberg. Blount with a rebound, and foul going up, 2 shots coming. You know, Tim, as these teams get ready for the playoffs, Duncan, for example. Okay, Tim Duncan, let's say he's back, but you don't know, is he going to be 100%, 80%, 70%? All these guys who have injury problems. Of course, Weber is back tonight.
Yeah, I think when you talk about Tim Duncan, the thing that would concern me is the fact that he's rolled that same ankle now 3 times this year. That joint is obviously weak. They're giving him a nice, long, extended rest. I'm pretty sure he's going to be feeling about 100% by the time he gets back for the postseason. But you're talking about a guy that won't have played in a month or more when the playoffs start. And, you know, Jermaine O'Neal and Jamal Tinsley, you talk about two guys that are key. Indiana's a team that can give Detroit or Miami fits if they get those guys back healthy for the postseason and they can get out of that first round. They are a team that's built for the playoffs.
Of course, the Pacers without him have won 7 of their last 8. And Reggie Miller has just been sensational now in his going away last few weeks of the season. Blount on that jam.
I completely marvel at what Reggie Miller can do at age 39 as a catch-and-shoot player in this league. To still be a guy that can be dominant at times is amazing to me.
The Celtics gaining some confidence here in this second quarter as they've come back to get the lead. Ricky Davis leaves it for Jefferson. Davis getting all the way to the hoop. The shot was blocked, but a foul on McKee.
Take a look at Marcus Banks here. You know, this guy's not a great decision maker, but this is where he's good because there's no decision to be made. It's put your head down and blow it to the rim. And Mark Blount is recipient that time running down the middle of the floor. You're not going to find many teams in this league, if any, that've got a combination of the experience and youth that the Boston Celtics have. They've got the 4 veteran scorers with Peyton Davis, Walker, and Pierce, and then a stable of young talent and guys that are athletic and quick and can jump and run all day and don't mind not getting the basketball. This is a dangerous team when they're clicking.
Pierce sitting it out right now. All 5 points for Ricky Davis at the foul line thus far. 82% shooter from there during the season, and he's 6 for 6 as Boston has opened up a 3-point lead. Sixers are working on an 0 for 6 with a turnover. Weber. And on the rebound to D'Alembert, a foul called on Blount.
And right now the difference in this game is Boston had 4 turnovers in the first 6 minutes of the game. They've had 1 in the last 11 minutes. So they're taking care of the basketball. And then the Sixers starting the quarter without Iverson and Weber really got out of sync offensively. And now they're trying to find their rhythm once again.
Here's Iverson with a 3 up. They have missed their last 8 field goal attempts. And we've had a 16-point swing in the game. Jefferson over Weber. That's 8 points for Al Jefferson.
The thing I like about Jefferson, as opposed to a lot of young high school big guys that have come into this league, he's already got the muscle mass and the size to bang down low and not get knocked off balance. Does a nice job of getting good shots for himself.
Give and go to Iverson. That ends that drought of 8 straight missed field goals.
Well, he was the assist guy early in this game, but expect him to be more aggressive, looking for his own shot here as the rest of his 7 minutes play out in the first half.
Here goes Jefferson again. He's been very effective. Davis goes back to him with 4 to shoot. Quick spin out by Jefferson.
Got him with the offensive foul.
It's an offensive foul as he hooked. Now, I guess it's a walk.
Got him for a travel, actually.
Yep.
Lou Grillo got him for the travel. He spun, both feet came off the floor, and both feet hit the floor again before that ball hit the ground. That's a travel. It's a tough call. A lot of guys do it in this league, but that time the rookie got nailed.
Weber at the other end against Jefferson. Lost it as he was double teamed. Banks made the steal. 6:20 for the half. Ricky Davis guarded by Korver. Davis inside to Jefferson, and Iguodala called for the foul. Al Jefferson on the line.
Nice job by Ricky Davis right there.
Understood the mismatch he had with Kyle
Korver down low athletically. Korver does a nice job defensively, but athletically he's not going to get off the floor and contest. So Davis very patient, waits for the double team to come, and Al Jefferson, for a young player, nice understanding of when your man goes to double, you follow him right to the center of the lane to either get the ball or draw another defender to free up a shooter.
Technical foul on D'Alembert. Ricky Davis will shoot the technical. Then the 76ers will make a change as Iguodala has picked up his 3rd foul, and Aaron McKee returns to the lineup. 7 straight from the line tonight for Ricky Davis. Mark Jackson also coming back for the 76ers. And he'll replace Dallenberg. Al Jefferson on the free throw line for the Celtics. Hasn't shot a free throw yet in this game. 63% this season, but he's having a good game offensively, as you see there with his 8 points tonight.
You take a look at the difference in free throws in this game. Boston much more aggressive, and I think when you look at these two teams, when you take Allen Iverson out of the mix, Boston has a huge advantage in quickness over the Philadelphia 76ers. And right now, you look at the team the Sixers have in the lineup, this is probably the most veteran team they could put on the floor, but also a lot of these guys have been banged up. So they're going to have to do all they can to compete with Boston's quickness and speed right now.
Iverson gets the corner turned and hits a tough shot. Allen Iverson with 8 points. Marcus Banks runs the show for the Celtics. Less than 6 minutes for the half. Ricky Davis. Now the Sixers trying to string a couple of hoops together. Mark Jackson underneath to Weber.
Great interior passing by Mark Jackson. Ball fake. Got the defender up in the air.
Penetrated, drew the other big man, and found Weber underneath for the easy bucket.
Ricky Davis. It's Pierce. Paul Pierce in with his 4th field goal tonight. He's got 9 points working.
Ricky Davis's activity right now offensively is really what's making the Celtics work. They're running everything through him because he's so active and he's drawing defenders. He's either getting to the line or finding guys for shots.
Kyle Korver with 8 on the clock. Iverson on a 3.
AI is down.
And we're getting a timeout taken as Iverson is in the backcourt limping his way toward the bench. Yeah, apparently he's going to stay in. But the timeout has been taken. 4:46 for the half. So you get a look at City Hall in downtown Philadelphia. Pierce from the playoffs 2 years ago, 32 points in the half, a Celtics record. Here's a look at the Eastern Conference playoff standings, and the 2 teams involved today. Boston in the 3rd spot, Philadelphia holding on to number 8. But remember, the Celtics are 3 because they lead the Atlantic Division in the 2003 NBA playoffs. In the first round, game 4 against the Pacers. What a night. 37 points, 10 rebounds for Paul Pierce, and he handed out 7 assists.
You hit on this 3-division format now. It's really incredible. Philly wins tonight. They're within a game of first place, and being the 3rd seed in the Eastern Conference, they lose. Jersey's only 2 behind them, and Sixers could be out of it entirely.
And that's something. Banks on the line for Boston. There you see Allen Iverson, who was limping before the timeout, but he stays on. The Celtics with a remarkable comeback, and they have quieted this near capacity crowd at the Wachovia Center. Boston down 13 in the first quarter, now up by 5. And 4:38 left in the half.
It's really been their bench. Ricky Davis, Marcus Banks, Al Jefferson, Mark Blount. These guys have come in and done a great job.
And because of that divisional playoff alignment, what Tim was talking about, the Mark Jackson connecting there for the Sixers. The 76ers have already won the season series from Boston, having won the first 3 games, so they have the tiebreaker. The Celtics would have to beat them out. They couldn't tie and finish in the 3rd spot. Jefferson blocked. Aaron McKee finds Iverson, who in turn finds Mark Jackson, and a foul on Jefferson. That's 2 fouls on Al Jefferson and Mark Jackson on the free throw line. the second quarter. This is the first free throw attempt for the 76ers, while the Celtics are 7 of 9. And perhaps Jim O'Brien with that mention to Bernie Fryer of the free throw discrepancy. Gary Payton has come back for Boston. And Mark Jackson shoots another. NBA TV tonight. The Jazz at the Clippers. Coverage starts at 10:30 Eastern tomorrow. A big doubleheader on ESPN. The Bulls and the Wizards with that 4th playoff position at stake in that one. Then the Mavericks at the Supersonics. Both games in high definition at 8 o'clock Eastern. TNT doubleheader Thursday. The Heat here and the Mavericks at the Trailblazers. 2 free throws for Mark Jackson. Now the Celtic lead is 1.
Jim, when it's all said and done, New Jersey might have a bigger impact on what happens in the Eastern Conference playoffs than any other team. They've got to play Boston, they've got to play Philly, they've got to play Indiana, and they've got to play Washington. So they're going to have a lot to say with who ends up where, who's in, who's out, and who's seeded where.
Iverson ends up with it right at the rim. That's goaltending. The Sixers have taken the lead.
And that was some wild action right there. AI ends up with the reverse layup. Pierce trying to track him down. But you see with the goaltender, the ball hits the glass, and Paul Pierce comes up, knocks it away. Easy call.
Payton out to LaFrance. And the 3-ball missed by Pierce. Again, the Sixers on the run. Iverson to Jackson. And a foul called. And he'll get
got a tech on Pierce as well.
Technical on Paul Pierce. And the personal foul.
Well, Paul Pierce blocked the shot, made some body contact, and then just kind of stayed and lingered and hovered over Mark Jackson. Kind of a scowl on his face. You're going to get him for taunting. Get him up with the technical foul.
And Kyle Korver shoots the technical. And now Mark Jackson to the free throw line for the Sixers, who have come back to take the lead. They have scored the last 6.
And Korver missing that technical is not something you're going to see every day. He's about an 87% foul shooter. But the thing is, he doesn't get there that often. He's only shot 84. That's his 85th attempt on the season. So he shoots about 1 a game. And sometimes when you get to the line and shoot a tech and you don't get there that often, it can seem kind of strange. And you put a little added pressure on yourself.
Korver, of course, hangs on the perimeter a lot. Better than a 40% 3-point shooter. And Mark Jackson gave that one all kinds of body language, but he got it to drop.
Maybe Korver should have tried that little dance. Got something to fall for him. Is it working for Mark Jackson? A little voodoo we put on the ball or something.
Mark Jackson has been a part of this recent surge of the Sixers in this game. 6 points for him, and Philadelphia up by 3. 8 straight points for the 76ers, and 3 minutes left in the half. Antoine Walker against Weber. Aaron McKee leaves it for Korver. Mark Jackson in on LaFrance. Mark Jackson with 8.
Mark Jackson has really been big off the bench, being active and physical, giving them some offense, being a big body in there.
A 10-point run by the Sixers to open up a 5-point lead. Davis. Walker for 3. And the loose ball rebound to Weber. Iverson against Payton. And Pierce came up with a loose ball and a foul called on the 76ers. Foul is on Iverson. 3 fouls on Allen Iverson. We have a timeout here at the Wachovia Center. And the 76ers, and they've done it by getting their running game going, something they talked about in the last timeout.
Hey, we gotta play D and rebound so we can run. Right. Yeah, we only had it at first. We only have 3 fast breaks. 3 fast breaks. We haven't had any of them.
Well, AI was certainly right, because the Sixers are a dangerous team when they can get out and run, and they triggered a lot with Iverson and Iguodala getting steals defensively. Also, rebounding the basketball. They've got bigs that can run the floor. You see Mark Jackson here getting to the rim and taking the foul. Dan Lambert, one of the fastest guys in this league at the center position from end to end. So that's when they're at their best, in the open floor. Allen Iverson pointing that out. They were great early in the game, haven't done a lot of it until this recent stretch.
And now, those 2 guys that you mentioned, Iverson and Iguodala, each have 3 fouls. They're out of the game.
That's big. That's big for that team defensively, because they're 2 guys in the top 10 in the league in steals. They create a lot of offense with their activity on that end of the floor. Without them now, Sixers have to find other ways to get their offense going, because the transition game will not be nearly as good without those 2 guys on the floor.
And D'Alembert also on the bench for Philadelphia. John Salmon's in the game for the first time. Number 7, Willie Green, number 33, handling here as we near the 2-minute mark. That free throw by Pierce ended the run at 10 straight for the Sixers, but Korver gets 2 quickly right back for him.
Yeah, sometimes when you're a great shooter, you can really set guys up. And that time, Korver faked coming off the screen for the 3. Pierce bid on it, and Kyle Korver back cut him, got the layup.
Korver with 11. Ricky Davis. The Friends with a hustle play to keep it alive, and now he fires. That's the first points tonight for Raef LaFrentz as he bags a 3 out of the corner.
Yeah, they've gotten great production from their bigs off the bench, particularly Blount and Jefferson, who have 15 points between them. But Raef LaFrentz can do that. He can stretch the floor when he gets an open look. He's a very good 3-point shooter.
Salmons. Shot clock at 10. Pierce defending on him. Salmons does get it away, but with 3 to shoot. A force up by Korver block that actually changed possession before the buzzer, so the Celtics are in transition. Good play by Willie Green. He popped it loose. Yep, and a foul.
What an athletic play by Willie Green. He's got Raef LaFrentz back on his heels, and he knows he's going to attack it. He's a natural scorer. He just hasn't had a lot of minutes early part of this year. He showed a lot of promise last season, but this guy flat out has a scorer's mentality.
That foul was on Raef LaFrentz. That's his 3rd. He's out of the game. Stan Verrett will be joined by Greg Anthony on the Toyota halftime show coming up, and they'll try to sort out this Eastern Conference playoff chase and a look at the hard-charging Bulls, who we will have tomorrow night on ESPN in Washington. 8 to shoot. As Pierce got to the baseline, a foul called. The foul is on Weber. First foul on C. Webb. Paul Pierce back to the free throw line for Boston.
I think Paul Pierce is at his best when he's trying to get to the foul line, because that opens everything else up for him. His one problem he gets into sometimes offensively is he has a tendency to settle for the jump shot, because he can get it off when he wants to. He's got great size, he's got a wingspan. He won't work that hard offensively to get open at times. When Doc Rivers stays on him to be active, get to the line, be an aggressive player to get to the rim, his entire game opens up, and he becomes one of the toughest guys in this league to stop one-on-one.
About 30 seconds for the half, and a 4-point Sixer lead. Willie Green. Salmons with 10 to shoot. Shoots with 7 on the shot clock. The ball out of bounds to Philadelphia with 15.5 seconds left. So the 76ers can have the final say. Iverson on the bench, 3 fouls. Salmons looks to bring it in. Green guarded by Payton. The final seconds of the first half. And Green lost it out of bounds. The Celtics have it with 1.8 left.
It's one of the problems you have when you don't have a true backup point guard. Willie Green, more of a 1.5. Not good enough ball handler really to be a point guard in this league as a starter, and not really a good enough outside shooter to be a 2. He's a very good player, but not a real point guard. It hurt him right there. Turnover.
Doc Rivers taking the timeout. It's a 20-second timeout with 1.8 left in the half. This has been a real roller coaster ride in the Wachovia Center tonight. 13-point lead for the Sixers. Then they go down by 6. Now they're back up by 6, and now they lead by 4.
It's been the pattern between these two teams. Doc Rivers talked about it before the game. Been wild swings in the games between these two teams this year, and you really need to stick around to see what's going to happen in the end, because I got a feeling there's going to be some more lead changes in this one before it's all said and done.
1.8 for the half. And Boston to throw in roughly at 3/4 court. Dallenberg in the game to put pressure on Payton, making the inbounds. Payton gets it in, though, and Davis has the shot blocked at the buzzer. So the 76ers and the Celtics walk off. Philadelphia in foul trouble. Allen Iverson has picked up 3 fouls. Also Dallenberg in somewhat foul trouble. Iguodala has picked up 3 fouls as well. But it's the 76ers on top nonetheless. Guys like Chris Jackson off the bench, Mark Jackson, I should say, playing very well. Which, of course, would be the 3rd seed in the Eastern Conference playoffs. But Paul Pierce and the Celtics, of course, they've got other things in mind. Celtics, you know, after the trade deadline in which they were able to reacquire Antoine Walker, and then Doc Rivers and company were then able to get Payton back after he was initially in that trade for Walker. They won 11 out of 12, but since then Danny Ainge has watched this club lose 6 out of 9.
Yeah, they've struggled, and talking to Doc Rivers about that, what has been the issue, you know, offensively, they just haven't been in sync, and they haven't shared the basketball. He feels like the ball is staying in one guy's hands too much. When they move it, they're a very good offensive team, 5th in the league in scoring, but they do have a tendency to play too much one-on-one basketball.
Kyle Korver with a quick look at a 3, and that gets the Sixers off here in the 3rd. 4 threes for Korver. Kyle Korver came into the game shooting .402 from 3-point land. Walker leaves it with LaFrentz, and Pierce finds Walker. Walker attacks on Dallenberg, led with the body and got some opening to the rim that way.
It was actually pretty good defense by Dallenberg. He gave ground and forced Antoine Walker to make a shot over an outstretched arm off the glass. A difficult shot, but he knocked it down.
Weber missing. As Pierce got it in the lane, the ball knocked away cleanly, says Bernie Fryer, and it's Payton sticking a 3 for the Celtics.
Gary Payton can still do that when he's got time. Now, he didn't really fit in L.A. because that's really all he was able to do was stand up, spot up, and shoot. Now he's got the ball a lot more in his hands. So when he finally gets a shot for the 3-point line, a little more comfortable taking it because he's more in the flow of the game.
Iguodala to Weber, and Korver firing up from 3-point range. And Iguodala with the rebound. So the 76ers get another crack at it. Their lead down to 2. That's sort of a trademark pass by Weber, that behind-the-back pass.
Take a look at Kyle Korver. What separates him from a lot of shooters in this league? Look how quick he gets rid of that. You know, Tony Allen really was in the area, had a chance to get a hand up, but Kyle Korver has an extremely quick release. And that's what separates him from a lot of good 3-point shooters in this league.
Kyle Korver, who every time he hits a 3, reestablishes a new 76er record for 3-point field goals. LaFrentz with the offensive rebound and his foul going back up. Weber called for the foul. That's 2 fouls on Weber. Rafe LaFrentz to the free throw line for the first time tonight. Celtics in the first half of this game were 18 for 23 from the foul line.
And as I mentioned earlier, 13 of those attempts came from their bench players, and Ricky Davis went 7 for 7 from the line. really did a great job of attacking the defense of Philadelphia.
And now the Celtics with a chance to tie. That's 4 points for LaFrentz in the game. Rafe LaFrentz also in some foul trouble for Boston. He's got 3 fouls. Korver with the rebound. Allen Iverson against Payton. Works around a Weber pick. Right down the pipe. Allen Iverson has 12.
Doc Rivers said the key to stopping Philadelphia far and away, stopping and defending the pick and roll. That time, not enough show by the big man, and Allen Iverson comes off Chris Webber's pick for an open look.
Paul Pierce gets inside and hammers it in.
That's a pretty open look, too, there.
Paul Pierce catching and going right down the gut of the defense. Sam Dallenberg caught out of position, and Andre Iguodala that time decided to trail Pierce off the screen, was late getting there.
Pierce with 14 as the Celtics stay right on the heels of the Sixers, and now Korver connecting again from 3.
And so there's something else that he can do that a lot of guys can't, believe it or not, even at this level, is shoot the 3 off of a screen. That's a deep shot off of a pick, and you see Kyle Korver right there stepping in and taking the charge. That's something Jim O'Brien said before the game. Kyle Korver is a very underrated player for several reasons. Not only is he a better offensive player than just a shooter, but he said he's one of the best he has at weak side defense, coming over, drawing charges, creating havoc, leaving his man in traffic. Did a great job of it there.
Allen Iverson shoots it in. I thought he was coming back with a pass against the grain.
That ball was deflected up in the air. He was trying to make a pass, and the defender actually deflected that ball right in the basket.
The 76ers with a 6-point lead, and Pierce fouled here. Now watch Iverson making the attempt.
Ball's deflected by Payton straight into the bucket. That's when you know you're a true scorer. When you can throw it off a guy's hand and have it go in, you know how to fill it up. And that time is funny. Allen Iverson swung at Paul Pierce's head basically and took his head off and immediately pointed at Andre Iguodala. Like, give him the foul. I don't want it.
And they
but
did.
Iguodala's got 3 also.
Right,
now Iguodala's got 4. He should have pointed at Kyle Korver or somebody else.
And Aaron McKee, who has 3 fouls, is coming in to replace Iguodala. Pierce is now 4 of 7 from the line tonight.
Aaron McKee, unfortunately, is a guy that really has just dealt with so many injuries since he was 6th man of the year about 5 years ago. That great run the Sixers had against the Lakers in the finals, and really injuries to his lower extremities have really prevented him from being the player that he once was.
Been in this league 12 years, and it shows when he runs up and down the floor, but he can still spot up and shoot, and still a very smart player. Good guy to have on your team as a role player.
Iverson makes it a 7-point lead for the Sixers. Allen Iverson, who started the game looking to pass and get his teammates involved, he has started the second half looking to score. Ricky Davis. Fans wanted to walk. Rafe LaFrentz.
They can take their pick. Somebody walked. We pretty much had a good feel. One of those guys was traveling. They finally caught Rafe LaFrentz with it. You know, it's your pick. Take your pick right here. Take a look at Ricky Davis. Switches pivot feet twice. Takes basically 4 steps there, and then Rafe LaFrentz decides to go from the corner to the rim without dribbling. That's very difficult to do.
Unless you've got great hang time.
That's right.
And he doesn't have that.
He's not.
And Weber is called for a foul.
I think he palmed the ball, actually. He got him for a carry.
Carried the ball in the turnover. So Chris Weber turning it over to Boston.
Oh, we got to travel.
Palm. See if we can get a 3-second down here. All the don'ts of how to execute offensively.
Antoine Walker in on Dallenberg. Then the ball lost out of bounds by the Celtics.
And you saw Korver again leaving his man raking down on Antoine Walker and really causing that turnover.
Nice job using his hands. He's not the quickest guy in the world at his position, but very smart player defensively. That makes up for a lot.
Iverson offers the 3. Ricky Davis. And off the ball, a foul called on Payton. Gary Payton with his 2nd personal.
I tell you what, Allen Iverson, when he decides to retire should go right to Hollywood, because he is one of the best. Look at that acting job right there. That's a beautiful thing. And he does a great job at his size of giving his body up, getting on the floor, and it really looks like he's getting thrown to the ground. Look at him offensively attack Gary Payton at the other end.
5 minutes into the third, it's a 9-point lead for the Sixers. Their biggest has been 13. Pierce trying to lean in on Korver, and the foul is called.
Now, when you put Gary Payton in one-on-one situations at this stage of his career against quick players, he's going to struggle. He is more of a guy now that plays the bigger guards better. There was a time in his career when they called him the glove for a reason, because he locked anybody up. But right now, this stage, this late in his career, very difficult, especially with the rule changes they have now, where you can't put a hand on a guy in the perimeter. There's no way Gary Payton can contain a guy like Allen Iverson one-on-one. He's going to need help to prevent him from getting all the way to the rim.
Pierce makes good on both. The 76ers have outscored the Celtics in this run 9-3. And we are closing in on the 6.5-minute mark for the third. It's loose. And McKee with a pickup. That means it's over and back. Boston ball. 6:36 left in the quarter. And Paul Pierce will make the inbounds pass as Weber and Iverson talk it over. Pierce hearing it from the Sixer faithful right along the sideline. Payton knocked loose by Iverson. Payton ends up with it. And it's out of bounds to Boston.
I'll tell you what, the Sixers, between Allen Iverson, Andre Iguodala, and even a guy like Korver, who's got really quick hands, it's difficult to put the ball on the floor against them because they really like to rake down.
Davis overshot the rim. Walker missing the three. Payton with the offensive rebound. And another foul on Payton. Allen Iverson takes the charge again.
What? He's like Tom Hanks. He wants back-to-back Oscars. One's not enough, but I tell you what, this is more of a legitimate call because Payton led with his shoulder. The last time he really was just extending his arm to post up. This overhead look gives you a better view. You see there, he got the right arm extended and he led with his shoulder, and an easier call, but still Allen Iverson doing a great job of drawing fouls and taking Gary Payton really right out of this game offensively.
Josh Davis has come on for the 76ers. Weber went to the sideline and looked like he was nursing that injured shoulder as he trotted off the court. We'll try to keep an eye on that. There's Josh Davis, who came into the game for the first time tonight, replacing Weber. There's Weber with a pad up on that left shoulder. 6 minutes for the third. Pierce finds Ricky Davis. To shoot. And Walker scores and draws the foul. Antoine Walker will be on the line when we come back from the timeout. And Founders with a 5-point lead on the Celtics with 5:49 left in the third. Kyle Korver, a great shooting night from distance. I leave all three-point shooting to Tim Legler.
He's already got 5 threes. His career season high is 7. And I said what separates this guy, the quick release, and he's so active offensively, always looking to find that pocket. And when you play with a guy like Allen Iverson, he will find you and he will create opportunities. This last one really is the toughest one. That's off a screen over your right shoulder from 23-9. That's a difficult shot for a right-handed shooter. Most of us like to come off that left shoulder from that deep.
Well, Korver among a trio of players this year with over 200 threes made. Ray Allen, Gilbert Arenas, they're closing in on 200. Do you guys have to ice your shoulders down after games like this?
You know what's funny is my shoulders would get sore because I was big on probably taking about 200 to 250 threes before every game. I would shoot 50 from every one of the 5 spots on the floor that I would probably get one in a game. And sometimes my shoulder would be sore, even though I only got maybe 6 or 7 looks in the game because I did so much work before the game. Kyle Korver's big on that as well. You never feel like you're taking a shot that you haven't taken 1,000 times that week.
Well, it looked like the 76ers were going to start pulling away again, but the Celtics have pulled them back in. 5 on the shot clock this trip for Philadelphia. Aaron McKee on the miss, and the ball tipped outside and out of bounds to the Sixers.
I tell you,
yes, out of bounds to the Sixers.
And I told Jim O'Brien before the game, I said, man, I would have liked to have played in his system because he really values what three-point shooters do for his offense. And he has found a niche for Kyle Korver on this team. And he was a little youth guy last year, but this year has become a very important part of what the Sixers are doing offensively.
Loose ball foul on Dalembert as he went over the back of Rafe LaFrentz. 3 fouls on Samuel Dalembert.
Boston right now has got to be feeling okay. They're down 4, and their bench hasn't even been in this quarter. And they're the ones that really got them going in the first half. Ricky Davis is the only guy that's come in. You got Al Jefferson over there, Mark Blount. These guys came in and did a great job in that first half, so they're feeling pretty good right now. The energy guys are on their way, and they're only down 4.
Rafe LaFrentz has split 2 free throws tonight. Don't forget, tomorrow on ESPN, an NBA doubleheader. The Bulls and the Wizards from Washington. That's a big game for that 4th spot in the East. In Game 2, it's the Mavericks against the Seattle Sonics. Coverage starts with a Kia NBA shoot-around. Also available in high definition on ESPN HD.
Seattle has been coming back to the pack.
Well, they've had some injuries.
Rashard Lewis, Vladimir Radmanovic, both out. That team's lost 5 in a row, and they're struggling right now. They're not obviously going to have any momentum going into the playoffs, which could be a concern.
This is Mark Jackson getting a shot blocked, but a foul call. Rafe LaFrentz called for the foul, and that's his 4th. Mark Jackson to the line for the Sixers. The Western Conference, not unlike the East in that, in talking about Seattle with the 3rd spot, they will be meeting a team in the 6 hole, possibly Houston, that's playing very well, and Houston just beat Seattle on this last trip.
And they beat them the time before that up in Seattle. So they're a team that's very dangerous.
The lower half of that West is brutal. I mean, look at the teams that one of those top seeds is going to get. Sacramento is still one of the most talented teams in the league from a start, at least as far as their starters are concerned. Houston, as we said, rebuilt their team, and now I think is the most dangerous team of those lower 4. Denver's the hottest team in the league, and then you got Memphis with all their depth playing much better under Mike Fratello. So it is no picnic in the first round for any of those higher seeds.
In fact, some of those higher seeds, specifically San Antonio, we talked about Seattle with injury issues. Here is Gary Payton.
A lot of people have been talking about those Dallas Mavericks lately as a team that might come out of the Western Conference as well. I think this is going to be one of the most entertaining playoffs we've ever seen because there's so much parity in both conferences.
The Mavericks much better defensively under Avery Johnson as Al Jefferson hits.
Picks up right where he left off in the first half. 4 for 6, 10 points in the first half. Comes in, 1 touch, 1 bucket.
17 points is his season and career high this year. Iverson sends it out to McKee. Nice move by Aaron McKee, his 2nd field goal.
So much for those creaky ankles. That's the first time I've seen Aaron McKee have that kind of lift going to the rim really all year.
About 4 minutes left in the 3rd and a 4-point game working. Nice feed, Ricky Davis into Jefferson, and Jefferson will shoot 2.
Great awareness by Ricky Davis. One of the toughest things to do as a shooter coming off of a screen when you're a catch and shoot guy and offensive minded is to have the awareness when you come off that the big man guarding the screener has shown too far. Now you know you got a split second to make that decision. Do I shoot it? Do I kick it down to my screener? That time Ricky Davis made the right decision, found Al Jefferson getting to the rim.
Al Jefferson 2 for 2 tonight.
Take a look at these wheels. Now, you put a little oil on these things, and you might have a chance, but I can hear him clanking all the way to the rim. It gets there, but gets nice lift up over Al Jefferson. Aaron McKee
one of the great guys in this league, a true professional. I've known him a long time, played at Temple, I was at LaSalle, and this guy's a Philly guy through and through, and loves playing here, and he still contributes. Great guy to have on your team.
13 points for Jefferson. The Celtics within 3. Less than 4 minutes for the third. Mark Jackson. Blocked by Jefferson. Cleared by Jefferson. Pierce. It's a deep 2 for Paul Pierce.
Classic situation of a team over-rotating defensively back in transition. Always have to know who the trailers are coming up the floor. That time, it was Paul Pierce, the best three-point shooter on the floor for the Boston Celtics. Have to know where he is.
Davis tripped along the baseline. Jefferson called for the foul. 3 fouls on Al Jefferson.
That could be a factor because this guy's had a huge impact in this game. If he gets his 4th here in this last 3 minutes, it could impact how aggressive he is in the 4th quarter. He has really come out tonight with a lot of energy and given this team a huge lift.
And of course, since Weber went to the sideline nursing that injured shoulder, it remains to be seen whether he'll return. McKee.
That guy, he must be trying to prove something to me tonight because he looks fresh.
Hey, it's a big game, and McKee usually shows up and performs well in big games for the Sixers. Pierce, Walker, 8 to shoot. Walker against Davis. Antoine Walker.
I always felt Antoine Walker never went to the post enough in his career. He's a guy with a lot of moves down there. He's got great footwork, great balance, and a variety of shots. But for a while there in Boston, the first time around, he fell in love with that three-point shot. Now he's working down low again.
Davis missing, but then follows it in. So it's back to a 3-point lead for the Sixers as we are closing in on the 2-minute mark for the third. Pierce drew the foul, shoots 2. Davis called for the personal.
And there are 2 guys in this league better than anybody else at getting you off the floor and drawing fouls. Paul Pierce that time working it, getting to the line, trying to cut into that lead.
The Wachovia Center in Philadelphia, the Sixers lead the Celtics by 3. You see Samuel Dallenberg, who recently brought lunch boxes to the winner of the Have Lunch with Sam Dallenberg essay contest.
How do you even warm this up a button?
And her 4th grade classmates at Fleetwood Elementary School. He also gave each student a gold-colored tin lunchbox filled with milk and cookies. And the lunchbox features the Sixers starting center pictured in action.
And I heard he dominated the basketball game at recess, too. That's just a rumor, though. It hasn't been substantiated.
Well, he had a great first half tonight. He scored 10 points in the first half. There you see Dallenberg, 6'11", 3rd year in the league.
I tell you, I'm a big Samuel Dallenberg fan because I love energy players, and this guy has about as much athleticism as just about any front court player in the league if you take Amari Stoudemire out of the mix. But he's raw. His basketball IQ has not caught up to his athletic ability yet, and as it does, you're going to see this guy be an impact. He's going to be a guy that a lot of people are going to covet as a free agent because he does things that not many guys can do in this league. With his length and jumping ability, he really can defend the rim and be a deterrent.
21 points for Paul Pierce tonight after those 2 free throws bring the Celtics within 1. 2 minutes for the third. Josh Davis to Iverson, and as Iverson was making a pass out, a foul called, and Doc Rivers, it looks like he's ready to leave the building. He's unhappy with that call.
That's frustrating because you got Allen Iverson pinned on the sideline, and he was getting ready to throw the ball to Kyle Korver, who cut to the basket. That was going to be a surefire turnover. Instead, as he's in the air, you hear the whistle, so it's kind of a bailout, and Doc Rivers frustrated with that.
And the foul was on Walker, the first in the last 2 minutes. Sixers came in with 14 to shoot. Here's Korver. And now Banks on the push. A hoop puts the C's on top. And the ball is out of bounds. Last touch by Iverson, who was out of bounds.
I don't don't think there's a guy in this league that spends more time on the floor in the course of a game than Allen Iverson. And at his size and weight, and as much as he's been banged up throughout his career, it's really amazing he plays as hard as he does all the time at both ends of the floor, because he is more than willing to get on the floor and mix it up for a loose ball.
Allen Iverson averaging over 30 points a game, leading the league in scoring. Walker. Sixers get a stop. Korver gets it out to Iverson. A lob for Mark Jackson. Blocked by Jefferson, but a foul will send Jackson to the line. That's 4 fouls on Jefferson.
And that hurts because you got Rafe LaFrentz in foul trouble as well over there. Doc Rivers going to have to make a decision.
I think Al Jefferson is more important in this game down the stretch than Rafe LaFrentz would be because of how well Jefferson has played.
So I think you ought to get him out of here this last minute 11, maybe the first few minutes of the fourth, before you get him back in for the stretch run, because you're going to need him in this game.
Mark Jackson has not missed a free throw in 6 tries tonight, 81% on the season. And he keeps that free throw string alive. 11 points for Jackson. 1:11 left in the third. The Sixers by 3. Banks. Walker against Davis with 10 to shoot. Less than a minute for the quarter. Korver got a hand on that pass. Allen Iverson driving on Banks all the way to the cup, but the ball blocked and cleared. Iverson is down at the other end. Walker. As the Sixers try to defend a man short, Pierce with a straight-on look at a 3. And on the follow, a foul call. The foul is on Davis. That's his 4th, and it's Iverson holding his shoulder.
A lot of contact on that drive by Allen Iverson. He got to the rim, split the seam, and got there. Definitely a lot of contact in this layup attempt, and frustration on Allen Iverson's part to not get this call, because then they give up an offensive rebound with the 5-on-4 situation. You see Paul Pierce coming for the block, but his hip caught Allen Iverson in the midsection. Iverson lands on his shoulder, ends up with a 5-on-4 situation, and Ricky Davis gets the offensive rebound.
And a technical foul on Jim O'Brien.
Take another look here at this penetration. Nice job of splitting the seam and getting to the rim, and you see the contact right there. Paul Pierce really caught Allen Iverson's shoulder, pulled it back. Very lucky right there to not have more damage to that shoulder. It looks very similar to what happened to Jermaine O'Neal earlier in a game this year when his shoulder got pulled back behind his head. He's missed quite a bit of time because of that injury.
Jefferson going out for Boston as Blount comes back in. Weber already on the bench for the Sixers as his shoulder injury has acted up. And the 3 free throws, the technical foul on Jim O'Brien, and the 2 free throws by Ricky Davis added to that ties the game. Iverson shoots for 3. With 19 seconds left, the Celtics can have the final say.
It was his right shoulder, wasn't it, Jim, that he hurt? Well, he looked all right on that 3-pointer. He couldn't wait to launch that shot.
7 seconds. Paul Pierce against McKee. Pierce comes back to Walker. At the buzzer, the 3 won't go, and now the Sixers and the Celtics are all even. The stage is set for a big 4th quarter here in Philly.
Allen Iverson's legacy to me when he retires from this game is going to be, this guy, number 1, loved to play basketball, and 2, probably expended more energy than any player in NBA history, really, because he is constantly on the move at breakneck speed.
And gives up his body.
Yeah, he doesn't care about that. And we were talking a little while ago, Jim, what's this guy going to look like when he's about 50 trying to walk around? Because his elbows, his knees, his neck, his back, every part of his body has been put through it. And anytime he gets hit in this league, it's usually by a much bigger body. So you got to respect the guy's heart.
Apparently, Chris Webber is able to continue. He's back in the game. He had gone out early in the third, nursing that left shoulder. Iguodala is also back in. And a foul on Walker, defending Webber out front. The Chris Webber factor tonight shows a plus 13 and a minus 13.
That's a 26-point turnaround when he's not on the floor. And it has a lot to do with the way they're able to run their offense through the high post with their cutting action and their activity off the ball, because he's such a great passer.
Iverson sends it on to Aaron McKee. Antoine Walker the rebound. Walker picked up his third foul a moment ago. So the Celtics with a chance at the lead, and Marcus Banks hands to Pierce. Ricky Davis running out of time, 6 to shoot. Sixers a steal. Iverson was fouled by Banks.
On the floor again.
Does a great job at forcing the contact in transition, and this is what they love to do. They want to somehow create havoc, knock a ball loose, and then get those athletes out and running. With Iguodala, Iverson, Dallenberg in the game at the same time, they can fly.
And in less than a minute, the Celtics have 2 team fouls, and that's going to be huge for Philadelphia. The Sixers tonight, 14 out of 15 from the free throw line. The Celtics, 31 out of 39.
That's been the difference in the game. That's how Boston has been able to stay in this game. They haven't shot a great percentage from the field, and they've been out-rebounded, but they've attacked, and they've gotten key guys in foul trouble. Andre Iguodala has basically been taken out of this game completely because of foul trouble.
That's 20 points for Iverson. Pierce underneath.
And now as a result of those 4 fouls, he can't be as aggressive guarding Paul Pierce, and Pierce using his body to free up under the rim.
Paul Pierce with 23. Iverson driving on Banks, and a foul on Banks. That's 3 team fouls on the Celtics.
Allen Iverson understands right now he's got a guy on him
In Marcus Banks, that's an extremely aggressive defender. He's very quick, he's physical, and Allen Iverson understands a young player. He's going to use his body, and if he can get his arm into Marcus Banks' body, he's going to draw the foul. That's what he's done the last 2 possessions. Marcus Banks needs to understand he's quick enough to stay with Allen Iverson. He just has to get a hand up and force him to make shots over top of an outstretched hand.
That's the first miss tonight for Iverson after hitting his first 4 free throws. And the game is tied at 80, so the Celtics with a chance to regain the lead. Dallenberg defending on Walker. Blount. Dallenberg has it. Iverson again. McKee finds Iguodala. Celtics get it out to Walker. 2-on-1 out. Ricky Davis.
Great rebound and outlet by Paul Pierce, and it's nice to have a 4-man in Antoine Walker that you can outlet the ball to, because he's a good enough ball handler and decision maker. And then Ricky Davis flying on the wing. Great transition opportunity for Boston. And here they come again. Marcus Banks pushing it at the gut, getting to the rim. This is what we saw the Celtics do in that second quarter when the bench came in. They just pushed it down their throat. They're doing it again now. Take a look at Paul Pierce. This is something Doc Rivers talked about before the game. He does a great job at rebounding in traffic. And again, how nice is it to have a 6'10" guy lead your break? Antoine Walker has that kind of ability. And Ricky Davis, one of the best finishers in the league. That's a textbook fast break opportunity.
And Banks adds to the Boston lead. Kyle Korver returning for Philadelphia. Aaron McKee goes out.
At this point in the game, if I'm Doc Rivers, I issue a mandate to my team, flat out, no help responsibility, whoever's guarding Kyle Korver. Meaning, you don't worry about anybody else on the floor. Do not allow this guy to catch and shoot the basketball and hurt you with a 3-point shot. Take him out of the game by face guarding him.
The Celtics have scored the last 6 to go up by 4. Iguodala finds Webber. Webber against Walker. Paul Pierce, another rebound. Antoine Walker working on Weber at this end. Blount lost it as Iverson comes out with it. Weber sends it on into the corner. Iguodala with a lob to Dallenberg.
It's a great pass by Andre Iguodala. He actually threw that pass with his left hand off the dribble. Perfect lob for Sammy Dallenberg right in front of the rim.
12 points for Dallenberg. Iverson a steal on a pass for Blount. The basket will not count. There was a foul call.
And Sam Dallenberg just got a fingertip on that ball.
It was going in.
As it was sitting on the rim, there's no question it was going to drop, but you can't fault Sam Dallenberg for making a hustle play like that. But take a look at Andre Iguodala crossing him up, and look, the left hand off the dribble, perfect lob in front of the rim. Now take a look at this goaltend, AI in transition. Samuel Dallenberg trying to make a hustle play, just gets a fingertip on it.
Games up on the Sixers for the Atlantic Division lead, and that's very much evident in the Philly huddle going into the fourth quarter.
Oh my gosh, our ball, 12 minutes. 12 minutes to get within one game with these guys. Nice defense, baby. D and run. D and run.
We talked about D and run, but look at Boston playing the defense, getting a great rebound by Pierce and outletting it, using their speed and their youth to get out in transition. Marcus Banks raking down on Weber and attacking the front of the rim, getting to the foul line. Boston's bench again playing well in this half.
Allen Iverson to shoot 2. He's 1 assist away from a double-double. Hit his first 4 free throws tonight. And now is 5 of 7 from the line.
And the most important number in his line for me tonight is 3 turnovers. Because remember, this guy's had double-digit turnovers twice in March. Within a span of 2 weeks, had 12 and had 11 turnovers in the same month in a game for a point guard. That's not winning basketball. Tonight, just 3, much more efficient offensively.
Yeah, but see, he had a broken thumb. And then on the other hand, he's had a sprained thumb. Davis. To Blount. I think it's more difficult to handle the ball, dribble, pass, than shoot.
Well, you're probably right.
Are out of action.
You got a Allen Iverson that handles the ball as much as he does. It might not be quite as big a factor because he's got it all the time. But either way, thumbs obviously important in basketball. Korver had a good look, but didn't quite get himself squared up.
But Iguodala dug it out, so the Sixers have another attempt. A pass on a touch to Dallenberg, stolen by Boston.
It's exactly what Jim O'Brien talked about before the game, how Samuel Dallenberg sometimes drops balls because he's not aware the pass is coming. And this is a very good passing team. Antoine Walker working down low with that low post game, going to the left hand, but getting back to that play with Dallenberg. Iguodala, Weber, these guys are great passers, and sometimes Dallenberg is not aware the ball's coming to him. That was the case with that last touch pass by Andre Iguodala.
The biggest lead tonight for Boston has been 6. Iverson somehow got out to Weber and ends up in the hands of Iguodala. Now the Celtics have a chance to go up by 6. Blount. Korver with the rebound. Iverson for 3.
Wanted the call with the contact on a 3. He really has not gotten it going at all from long distance tonight. Everything he's gotten has been going to the rim.
And it's another double-digit rebound night for Paul Pierce, who was fouled by Iguodala, and that's 5 fouls on him.
I don't like that foul by Andre Iguodala. You got to know time and score and situation right now. You're down by 4 points. You're the one guy on this roster that can guard Paul Pierce straight up. And he's going to get the ball. You're probably going to get help coming in that situation. Don't reach in before he even gets the basketball and give the ref an easy call.
Walker sends it on to Banks. Weber, the Sixer rebound. This game was tied at 78 after 3. Iverson's shot is blocked, but he's fouled. And so Allen Iverson has done it. He has gotten the Celtics into team foul trouble. They're over the limit. Iverson to the line to shoot 2.
And now the Sixers have to come back with Aaron McKie here for Andre Iguodala, because you're going to need him if this game's tight down the stretch to come in and be a situational player to guard Paul Pierce late in the game. So Jim O'Brien has no choice but to get him out with those 5 fouls. Aaron McKie, who has played well tonight, comes into the game. Maybe he can give them a lift offensively right now.
Allen Iverson, 8 points under his scoring average. Divides the free throws.
He'll get that 30 by the time this game's over, because he's going to continue to pound it and get to the foul line. You know he's got at least 1 3 in him somewhere, so he's going to get his average. The question will be, will it be enough, and will it be in the flow?
Ricky Davis around the pick by Blount. Great. And Iverson makes the steal. As Iverson exploded through the defense near midcourt, a foul. 2 shots for AI. Well, wait a minute. It is a clear path foul.
Clear path. It looked to me like there was another defender slightly ahead of him from where Paul Pierce grabbed him by the waist. And I think that's exactly what Doc Rivers is frustrated about, because if you take another look at this replay, Paul Pierce takes the foul, but there's another defender slightly ahead of or even with Allen Iverson, and that rule is pretty clear that no one else can be ahead of the pack when that player is grabbed around the waist. And we'll see if we can tell from this angle. First, great hands by Iverson to come up with the steal, pushes it up the floor. You can't really see from that angle, but Ricky Davis, at the time of the foul, I think was stride for stride with Allen Iverson, and even maybe potentially could have made a play on a block shot at the rim, and that's why Doc Rivers is frustrated, probably justified.
So it's a free throw and possession as Weber misses from out front. Pierce the rebound. A foul called on Philadelphia.
Paul Pierce is a lot bigger, first of all, than people think. He's got a broad base, long arms, and he's a very good rebounder for his position. And Doc Rivers thinks he gets as many tough rebounds in traffic as anybody on his team. And take a look right there. Takes a slap across the face, but ends up with the basketball.
3 fouls on Korver. Celtics by 2. And a foul on Allen Iverson.
And not a lot of flow to this game right now. There's a lot of whistles. It's slowing down. This is looking like the old Eastern Conference basketball that we were used to. But these two teams can get up and down the floor, put points on the board. Right now, a lot of fouls being committed.
And that's the 5th on Iverson. Davis. Ricky Davis, until the 4th quarter, did not have a field goal. He's got 2 hoops here in the 4th and 14 points in the game. And the 76ers are taking timeout, less than 6 minutes remaining. So the Boston Celtics do not want to be swept. And here in Philadelphia, a crowd of 17,609, a bit concerned. The Celtics with a 4-point lead. Don't forget, later tonight on NBA TV, the Jazz at the Clippers. Coverage starts at 10:30 Eastern. On ESPN tomorrow, a doubleheader, a big game in Washington. The Bulls and Wizards, followed by the Mavericks at the Supersonics, also available in high definition. And also a doubleheader on Thursday on TNT. Miami here and the Mavericks at the Trailblazers. Inside, a foul on Ricky Davis.
Chris Webber trying to work down low, back his man down, and
Ricky Davis did a nice job coming over to help and rake down and got a little too much wrist. There's a late whistle, but they were on top of it. Chris Webber goes to the line. These are 2 big free throws.
He hasn't been there tonight. He shoots 80% on the season. Hasn't shot well from the field either, as you can tell by that graphic. Webber 2 out of 9.
And these look more like the lines that he was getting when he first got here.
he had a few of these and really caught the wrath of the Philadelphia fans and media and everything else, and was not a happy camper with the way things were going. Turned that around, got into a nice flow, found his game, found some balance with Allen Iverson, and then he went out with the injury. Now he's almost like he's starting over again. So I kind of feel for Chris Webber what he's going through right now, because he had some rhythm and looks like he's going to have to search to find it again.
76ers have Mark Jackson in the lineup. Dallenberg is out. The Celtics 5 of 9 from the field here in the fourth. The Sixers 1 of 9. But it's just a 3-point game. Walker on a feed from Pierce. And on the follow by Blount, it's blocked and taken out by Korver. Underneath is Weber. Yep, and a foul. Blount is called for the foul, and Weber has a chance at the line to tie it up.
Strong finish that time by Chris Weber, going off of his bad shoulder, drawing the contact on that side of his body.
Great concentration to finish that play.
Weber, who just split a couple of free throws a moment ago. There you see Gary Payton ready to come in the game for Boston. Chris Weber unable to pull the Sixers even, and Pierce has another rebound. Marcus Banks. Antoine Walker guarded by Weber. Banks on the reverse. A good play by Banks.
Great awareness that time by Marcus Banks. Saw the baseline was not cut off. The ball was swung to him. He's got such a great burst of speed getting to the rim. Good finish using the rim to protect that layup.
Now a foul called on Banks. Iverson back to the line.
What you're seeing right now is just a schooling going on this end of the floor, because Allen Iverson is just baiting Marcus Banks into all kinds of contact. And I've already said it, Allen Iverson is the best actor in this league. And the slightest contact, he's going to go into all kinds of theatrics. And this stage of the game, a former MVP against a guy as young as Marcus Banks, you're going to get to the foul line. It's exactly what he's counting on. You see Marcus Banks is confused and trying to talk to some guys on the bench to get some support, but you're not going to get that call against Allen Iverson at this stage.
Gary Payton is in to replace him. And Iverson brings the Sixers to within one. Anybody's game with 4:45 left. Payton guarded by Iverson. Korver out on Davis. Ricky Davis with his third field goal in the quarter. And it's Davis guarding Iverson. Weber. Korver on a three.
Well, that time, kind of, that's a situation where he hasn't had a shot this quarter. So he wanted to get his hands on the basketball, and Paul Pierce flew out at his shooting hand, forcing the air ball. Great job by Pierce. When you close out on the shooter, run at the hand that he's shooting the ball with.
Pierce on the miss. Weber the rebound. 4 minutes left. Iverson hands inside to Jackson. Taken down by Blount.
Oh, it's a tough opportunity right there. You can't miss layups. This situation in the game, every possession, critical.
Well, we have seen at the other end, Allen Iverson being guarded by Ricky Davis, not Gary Payton. With this turnover with 3:36 left, the Sixers have it.
Well, Ricky Davis right now is just much more athletic than Gary Payton. Has a better chance of containing Iverson. And if not, he's longer than Gary Payton and get a hand up and still force a contested shot, even if he's beat.
Good pass inside to Jackson. Maybe got away with a walk, but it's a field goal. A 1-point game as we close down on the 3-minute mark for regulation. On the shot clock for Walker. Walker gets it away.
Great shot. Paul Pierce wanted the ISO. Antoine Walker said, no, I got this. I want to take Weber. Weber blocked the first one, but Walker with a circus shot. Keep the Celtics up 3.
On screen roll, Payton makes the steal of a pass intended for Jackson. Pierce shovels to Walker with 15 to shoot. 7 on the shot clock for Pierce. Guarded by McKee. And a foul puts Pierce on the line for the Celtics after the timeout.
Take a look at Antoine Walker.
To a 3-point lead. A reminder coming up next, NBA Nation. Matt Weiner, Greg Anthony will be in the studio. Tim Legler will be here in Philadelphia. Mark Stein in Dallas. Mark Jackson will also be aboard, and they'll have the latest from everywhere in the league, plus a special guest. Jermaine O'Neal will join in. NBA Nation. It has been the Walker-Pierce tandem for the Celtics tonight.
Yeah, this is just like the Boston team that went to the Eastern Conference Finals with these two guys leading the way, and down the stretch, they're like the only two guys touching it right now. How nice it is to have a small forward that can get you 12 rebounds in a game this physical, in a game this important. That's why Boston's got a 10-rebound advantage, mainly because of Paul Pierce's work.
Paul Pierce, 24 points. There you see his free throw totals tonight. Pierce pushes that lead out to 5. Iverson guarded by Davis. Jackson hits.
Big shot by Mark Jackson right there, stepping up after he missed the layup earlier. Has come back with 2 big buckets after that.
16 points for him. Just about 2 minutes left. Paul Pierce has it against McKee. In the corner to Walker. Rebounded by Weber, ahead to Iverson.
Great finish by Allen Iverson. I think that was an ill-advised shot by Antoine Walker in the corner.
Remember, it's a 2-game game. Philly wins, they're within 1. Boston wins, they're up 3. Pierce, did he get the timeout called? He did before he was tied up.
Good awareness by Paul Pierce. Looked like it was going to be a traveler or jump ball instead. Gets the timeout. A critical juncture in this game. Boston clinging to that 1-point lead.
And they'll have 8 to shoot to put it in play when they come back with 1:35 left in regulation. For the years, the Celtics and Sixers have been one of the great rivalries in NBA history. This game has lived up to it tonight. NBA Nation coming up next on ESPN2 when we're finished here in Philadelphia.
Take a look at Allen Iverson right here. Again, leaking out. This is where he's at his best. And just for good measure,
so Ricky Davis can't block this shot. Maybe just slap him in the face a little bit, poke him in the eye. Do what you have to do to get the job done.
That's 10 points for Iverson in the quarter. Pierce attacks the rim, and Weber ends up with it. Man, there was some contact on the move by Pierce.
This time in the game, they're going to let you play. Better draw blood if you want to get to the line.
The Sixers looking for the lead. Iverson guarded by Ricky Davis. Iverson finds Weber. Shot blocked by Walker. A foul, and Weber will be on the line.
I have no idea how Allen Iverson found him.
He came off that screen, had 2 defenders on him. Jumped in the air. He's the smallest guy on the floor, but there is no passing lane whatsoever. That's just awareness that Chris Webber was on that side of the rim because he set the initial pick. That is just tremendous vision, and it shows you how Allen Iverson has matured, because in years past, he would have forced a shot right there. This year, his assists are at a career high. That's why.
Webber is 1 for 4 from the free throw line. Now the best he can do is tie. 1:12 left.
And I tell you what, if he hasn't enjoyed hearing boo since he's been in Philadelphia, he better plug his ears if he misses this one.
You can hear boos in Philadelphia rather easily if you're an athlete. Right down the pipe with that one to pull the Sixers even. 17,609 on their feet at the Wachovia Center. 1 minute left in regulation. Pierce puts the Celtics on top.
Celtics go to their standard motion offense. It's really just a flex offense, something that even high school teams run. And Pierce comes off. Big courage to take and make that shot.
Weber ends up with it again. 10 to shoot. Corver. Here's Jackson against Walker. And it's taken out of there by Pierce.
Another big rebound by Paul Pierce. And
that is not the possession that the Sixers wanted offensively. When you got Allen Iverson, you got Weber's who's come through lately, you got Kyle Korver, Mark Jackson one-on-one in the post. I don't think that's the possession the Sixers wanted, but Paul Pierce offensively, you take a look at this is flex. It's a screen, and then you get a screen, and comes off, big man in his face. Weber gets a hand up too late. But then again, on this end, Pierce doing it at both ends because he has gotten every tough rebound in the fourth quarter that the Boston Celtics needed.
He's got 13 in the game. Payton on the line, misses the free throw. Payton is 2 for 3 from the line tonight. 77% on the season.
I'll tell you what, the guy we talked about, I said it when this quarter started, no more looks for Kyle Korver. If I'm Doc Rivers, he's only had one shot in the period, has not been a factor, and he really hurt them earlier in the game. I wouldn't be surprised to see something drawn up for him out of this timeout.
And in the huddle say we're 12 minutes away from being within one game of these guys.
It's interesting because a lot of times coaches want to allude to that in the course of a game, where they are, where they rank, that kind of thing. But Jim O'Brien, one of these guys to understand the urgency of the situation, the opportunity before them to potentially put so much pressure on Boston down the stretch that Philly could end up with that 3 seed.
Kyle Korver has 5 threes tonight. It may be a little early for it.
Yeah, you don't need a 3 now.
But if he ends up with a ball and he's open and he's in his rhythm.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's one guy that if he's open, it's always a good shot. Time and score out the window.
Iverson working around a pick by Jackson. Iverson getting inside. Mark Jackson. And the rebound controlled by Payton, and he's fouled immediately with 19.1 left.
Now, I actually have less of a problem with that look from Mark Jackson than the post-up he got earlier because he's made that shot tonight, and he's a good face-up shooter from the elbow. Not so good one-on-one in the low post, so that shot, no problem. The only thing that's unfortunate, you've got 3 of your 3 best offensive players haven't taken the 2 biggest shots in this game. And if you're Jim O'Brien and Allen Iverson tonight, they lose this game, they're going to dwell on that.
Well, now it's a 4-point difference. And Payton can add to that.
Still a lot of time, 19 seconds. You got a full and a 20. Still going to be a 2-possession game, make or miss on this one.
5 games left over the last week of the season.
And in this situation, even though you have 19 seconds, that's plenty of time still to try to get to the rim. The problem they have now, all they have left is a 20-second timeout. So if you get a 2 and then Boston makes 2 free throws and you're still down 5, you now can't advance the ball for a quick 3. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him look for the 3-pointer in this situation.
Iverson off penetration. Rafe LaFrentz the rebound, and he's fouled with 11.7 left. Aaron McKee called for the foul. Aaron McKee has fouled out.
LaFrentz makes these 2. It's over because it's a 3-possession game.
Rafe LaFrentz is an 81% free throw shooter. And the Celtics as a team tonight shot 81%, 38 out of 47. They shot 17 more free throws than the Sixers.
That's the game in a nutshell right there. I mean, Boston attacked, and I got to give their Celtics bench a lot of credit because it was their bench that came in and got to the foul line in that second quarter. Ricky Davis in particular. Al Jefferson did a nice job down low, and they just continued it in the second half with Paul Pierce getting to the foul line. So they were just more aggressive in trying to get good shots and get to the paint all night.
7-point game with 11.7 left. And Celtics coming up with a steal.
Unless Tracy McGrady steps on the floor real quick, this one's over.
This one is over, and the Celtics avoid the sweep, and more important.